Oh shit, I guess I tried. Oh, I like signal processing. I like troubleshooting just details and sound design stuff in the DAW and hardware too. I have a harder time with hardware just because, you know, I mean, it sounds trivial, but it's literally more physically demanding. And so sometimes, like, the extra up, down, depending on how I have hardware situated, or the extra just like even moving of hands from like this kind of stuff or whatever can like eat up at my fingers pretty quick sometimes. So I'm not always big about hardware troubleshooting just because of that. That's just because of the way my muscle and nerve problems work. It is what it is. But it's sort of this obsession I have, or the special interest of sound design, signal processing, led to this setup, which is now really convoluted in this project because it's so far along in what I've been doing with it. Got a lot of routing tricks going on, a little side chain coming from this other bus through, and then this thing I think is being fed, by that. So this track here is routing into that, and it's running a little side chain deal on the side, as it were. And some similar stuff down here. So this drip is going into this one and this one. We got two side chains going there. It's silly. But I was talking yesterday about how I have this drum bus set up and I split it into high and low bands, and I just do it manually where I want it each time. A little low pass here that I'll adjust for the low. And then talked a little bit about how I process those. And one of the things I kept mentioning, I was really talking about, was side chain compression. So I got the side chain group here. What I'm going to do is try and use this to talk a little bit about side chain compression. Actually, this looks like it's not too far along. Have I done this? Yeah, I just worked on the mix of the drum bus. I usually don't mix this too much because I can usually hear it fine. It doesn't bug me too much until I get towards the end, and then the mixing becomes more, we gotta do it sometime. I'm gonna do it at the end. Shows they say. I'm not sure if that's what it was. I've sort of settled on this arrangement yet or not, so I might go through some more changes before I put much work into that bus. But I'm going to talk about side chain compression a little bit. So I guess I'll just turn this off and see what it sounds like without it to start anyway. I get a feel for the project, remind myself kind of where it's at as a whole. So the way the routing of this up here works is, or the entire sort of project setup that I like to use for my projects, is this drum bus is also used to trigger side chain compression in the side chain group. and I use TDR Molotov, just one I like. And then I tend to usually do it. Oh, I did it off the. Oh no, I do it off the drum bus. Sometimes I'll do it just off the low bus in the drum bus. This is sort of my default setup for how I have it. And then, so right now what's happening is every time like the drums hit, there's other sound happening from like this is still sound going on while the drums are going on. So like that's what this drum bus sounds like at the moment, and that's when it's like adding more of the shit in. So then what's happening is that sounds all kind of competing. When the stuff all gets sent into the master bus, it's all just getting added together. So like every peak is getting added to every other peak. And there's other shit that can happen too. There's like subtracting that happens because you're adding negative. Whole other discussion. But you know, there's only so much room up at the top is part of the issue, and the other issue is it can make some really big high peaks at times that are, you know, are higher than you want them and so forth. But the end result is you can't hear the drums as well because it's just got more noise going along with it, more sound that's happening at the same time. So you're the drums are competing for attention, for your ears' attention with all these other sounds, with all these other sounds. So you can address some of this through sidechain compression. I'm gonna adjust this, I think, because no, maybe I'm playing with it like this. And so what this does is actually, I'll even, let's do it like this. I'm going to use this compressor just because it's got a neat little visual here so that I can kind of show a little bit more about what's happening, help my words. So I'm going to route this from my drum bus, this external source on the side chain, and then I'm going to, we're going to do post mixer. It's just the way I mean to do it for this. This is post effects. Once you post mixer, I'll come back to that. And so this is what like the drum gain envelopes look like. The drum gain is going through, so you can see all these peaks from the drums. So this is the signal that's coming through here right now. This is all that like FM synth and whatever, the drift synth and side chains that are going through there. So every time this hits, it'd be nice if all of this like output signal wasn't necessarily going at the same time. So we got this nice like solid flat sort of line of I don't know, wall of sound. Then what we can do is we can cut out little notches for the kicks to fit in. So like if we look at it here, I'm going back to it's messier because of the glitch and the shuffle and scratching that's going on in there. But once that tidies up there, so just these kicks, right? So what we could do is we can cut these little notches out of here. Let's I'll make a little pokier. That's not what I want to do. There we go, pokier. So what it does now, so every time the drums are hitting now, it's cutting these little notches out of that side chain sound. So it creates space essentially for all these little peaks to kind of poke through a little bit better. If I had thought this through a little bit better, I could have thought of like some better ways to visually show that combined look. Actually, let's see. Maybe we can see it here. I don't know if this will work well or not. Let's find out. Oops. Thanks for taking out. Now let's do more. So you can hear the drums there. You can hear them a little bit more prominent now. If this was pushed a little bit harder, and then I had the side chain going, so once I start working through these multi-band dynamics and some of the other EQing, I'm gonna push both the floor and the ceiling of this up a little bit, so this difference will be a little bit more obvious. So like, here's the output. Those are some pretty big cut chops we're taking out of there. So I guess you can, this is actually a reasonable way to see it too. So the gray in the back right here, that's what the drum hits look like. And then this white is the sound that's actually coming through this right now. So like if we don't sidechain compression at all, you can see them overlapping more often. Those peaks right there, right there. Now, actually, if it was just like this, I kind of like that better because it creates some variation and dynamicism to the sound of that rhythm there overall. And so now you can see every time those gray drum hits, most of those are kicks, come in, now the white output signal's dipping down so that there's room for these kicks to go through. So that's one way of kind of seeing it. I'm wondering how well it'll show up here. So that's off right now in theory, right? Yeah, we're off. Now it's on. So there's these kicks coming, well. See, now there's just like a lot more shit going on in here. Turn that down. Everything's a little bit cleaner coming through. So it can create some cleaner peaks if that's something you're going for. But mostly what I'm using it for is just to create a little bit of space, because as I start mixing this and as I do the master at the end, I'm just gonna shove everything up as much as is reasonable so that I'm getting all the sounds that I want to get at the highest that sounds good, the highest volumes that sound good, so it's kind of like just, I don't know, maximizing the joy or what have you. Yeah, but let's go back to this, because I usually use Molotov for this. Oh, that's not what I want. That'll be fine for now. I'll have to check that again as I work more of this mix in here. What I really like is this. That motherfucker. Yeah. I think I want it closer to that level there. It's coming out of the leveling tool. I want this to scream more. Scream at me, echoey thingy. When you start giving me more of that, where are you at? This one. Oh, it goes like the whole time. Weed sauce. Let's go here then. No, here. This output the same roughly as that. Louder. What's the other one? You. Oh, this whole thing. Okay. Neat. I should have just gotten there. Now this is fun. Bram, 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 bram. Oh, oh, oh. Dodo. Dodo.